I hear this all the time. I've got this great idea and I'm going to start a company. Watch this video so you can learn from one entrepreneur when he started his own company to launch his product. Okay, Stephen Key here, and today, once again, we're going to talk about how to launch a product. And we have David all the way from where? David, where do you live?
Right now, I live all the way over here in Israel, other side of the world.
Well, wow, that is the other side of the world. David, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing over there in Israel.
Okay, so my name is David Becker. I'm originally from Minneapolis. That's where I grew up. Still looking forward to Monday Night Football today with the Vikings beating the Bears. All good. And I've been over here for about 30 years. I actually have a master's in social work,
Okay.
and most of my career was spent in informal education and community work. And at a certain point, I kind of was looking for something different and decided, I was actually I was kind of a new parent, very into the world of toys and this and that. So I thought about opening up a toy store at one point and looked at different things. One thing led to another. A friend of mine said, I got a great idea. Let's talk. And I said, okay, what you got? And next thing I knew, we were opening up a gourmet ice cream cone business. And everything's taken off since then. You never know where life's going to lead you.
Ice cream in Israel. Okay, why'd you pick that of all things?
So, I mean, I think you'll appreciate this. We identified kind of an area in the ice cream industry that we felt was underserved, and that was the area of the ice cream cones themselves.
Okay,
And we recognized that the ice cream cones are basically just a holder, but that maybe there can be added value to the cones in a different way than people had thought about it.
okay.
So we actually developed the world's only gourmet, organic, all natural, flavored ice cream cones with inclusions, with little pieces of cherry and almond and coffee and whatever as an integral part of the cone. And it took off for quite a while. We were selling it throughout Israel, and we actually got called out of the blue from, I think, four out of the top seven ice cream cone companies in the world talking with us. And you talking before we got online here, you were asking me about mistakes. So I'm happy to share with you some of my journey that really started there in terms of mistakes. But the life of an entrepreneur has lots of ups and downs, and it's an interesting journey.
inventRight co-founder Andrew Krause here. This break will only take a second. Consider joining our Become a Professional Inventor program. It is only $349 a month. We'll make sure everything is done right on your project. You have great marketing materials. You're getting in the top companies. Not only that, we'll guarantee that you can get into companies. And our negotiation coach will provide unlimited negotiation support during your membership with us. So if you'd like to close that lucrative licensing deal at only $349 a month, please book a call with us. Go to inventright.com and book a call. Now back to the show.
So, so David, how did we get together? You're doing ice cream in Israel, but how did we connect?
So I was doing ice cream cones in Israel for a while. And
Okay.
one of the challenges whenever you start up something is scale up.
Sure.
And we were pretty green, to be honest. Neither of us really came from a hardcore business world. And we were kind of a little bit flying by the seat of our pants.
Okay.
And, when suddenly Haagen-Dazs speaks to you about, how can we be sure that we can trust your supply chain? And your best response is kind of, well, the supermarket never's going to run out of sugar, are they? You're not really ready yet for the big boys. It was a great lesson, a
Okay.
great journey. We did really well, but at a certain point, that journey ended. Went back to the non-for-profit world for a bit, and then I realized where I really wanted to be was in the world of creativity, entrepreneurship, and I had heard somewhere through the grapevine about this whole idea of licensing, and it very much appealed to me after having kind of dug deep and knocked on doors and this and that. The idea of licensing was a different kind of approach that really appealed to me. And I just started researching a little bit, and I came across inventRight, and one thing led to another, and I signed up. And I worked together with Scott for a while. And then that course kind of ended, and I signed up for a second course with Scott. And also, I don't know, it was a while ago, you may not remember, but we had numerous conversations about various products over the period,
That's right.
and really found a great um, warm environment to be able to learn this industry and this direction,
Okay.
and tremendous resources, and it really got me started, and gave me some grounding in this industry, which I don't think I would have had in the same way otherwise.
But what's really interesting about that, here we're at inventRight teaching you about licensing. But David, you did something really different. You started a company.
I did. I will say that was not the plan. That was not the plan.
All right.
Um, I actually saw an interview that you did together with, I'm sure you remember, Matt Nuccio.
Yeah.
And after the interview, I had a bunch of ideas in a bunch of different industries,
Okay.
in kitchenwares, in toys, in stationery, in publishing, in a variety of different ways. But I think things were kind of veering towards the area of toys and games a little bit more.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, this guy, what he's saying makes so much sense to me. I cold called him. I
Okay.
cold called him. I said, I just saw the interview that you did with Stephen. I was really impressed. Would you be open to talking and maybe allow me to pitch a few different ideas to you? And he said, sure. And we set up a time. It was on Zoom. And I think I pitched him six different ideas.
Okay.
And the first idea is like, that's kind of cute, but no one's really interested. Next idea, gonna cost way too much in manufacturing. Next idea, other people have done it. Next idea, next idea. And finally, I think it was the last idea.
All
And he
right.
said, that sounds kind of interesting. Tell me more about it.
Okay.
And that's kind of where things started. And at that point, I was still very much along the lines of licensing.
Got it.
And bottom line, one thing led to another. And, the opportunities kind of presented itself, and I could kind of start seeing a path. I had other ideas. I had kind of an industry insider who could kind of coach me along the way.
Okay.
And I decided to go for it, basically.
So you started a business. What's the name of your business?
A better design company.
I love
My
that.
my grandfather had a gasket company in the Lower East Side of Manhattan,
Okay.
and kind of in the kind of Greenwich Village area, if you know where that is at all. And those were in the days, I'm sure you remember, you had the white pages and the yellow pages, those big fat phone books. A lot of people on this call don't even probably know what that is. But and so he decided he needed to be anybody who wanted gaskets, he needed to be able to find them quickly. So
Okay.
he called himself a Better Gasket Company, because it was the A and the B together would be near the top.
Smart.
So I decided in memory of him, I would call it a Better Design Company.
So, David, were you comfortable because you had already ran a business, right? That to start another business, were you somewhat comfortable about that? I mean, did you know enough about ordering, manufacturing, inventory, floating the money? Is that the reason why you were able to make that change? Excuse me.
I would say I had some of the language and
Okay.
some of the basic understanding.
All right.
The place I'm at now, even though I did the ice cream cones for longer and in a more intense way in certain ways,
All right.
but it was a very homegrown industry, the ice cream cone thing. It was grow it very organically and slowly and out of our own kitchens and this and that. I wasn't dealing with China. I wasn't. So in certain ways, yes, I had certain understandings
Okay.
that maybe made it a little bit easier for me to start, but I'm learning things every day, challenges, things I didn't fully understand, some lessons are learned, no big deal. Other lessons are learned, ouch.
Well, give
And
us an ouch. Give us an ouch lesson. What'd you learn?
cash flow, significant cash flow.
Okay.
You know, when I went from, selling 100 cones to 500 cones, that wasn't major cash flow.
All right.
When you're quadrupling your inventory with products that cost a lot more money, and you need to store them, and it takes time and shipping and this and that, you're dealing with a whole different ball game and a whole different reality.
Okay.
And that's certainly a wake up call to trying to make it when you're going out on your own in that way.
So let's talk about that cash flow for just a minute so people understand it. The cash flow meaning that you're buying your product or manufacturing your product, you have to pay for that, you have to inventory that, and then you have to sell it to a retailer and they're going to pay you later. So you've got this gap, you've got this float going on. So how do you manage that financially? How do you raise money to do that?
So I would say a few different things. First of all, it's not only you have the float going on, you have a very high level of risk because the fact that I sold out of my last container doesn't mean that the four times amount that I just ordered is also going to sell out. And it doesn't mean it's going to sell out as quickly as the last one sold out.
Okay.
I think you know part of the reason we've reconnected is because I just was named a finalist for a Toy of the Year, which is fantastic. But it got a lot of press, and it got me a lot of attention, and lo and behold, it got me a lot of sales. You know, 2 months
Wait,
from
wait,
now,
wait, 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 wait. David, sales are good.
sales are good. But 2 months from now, that attention won't necessarily be there in the same way. Will I be able to keep up the same pace, or did something just briefly go viral? I think I've got a great product and people are interested in, people are clearly buying it, but you need to keep growing that. So all of these stages
Wow.
are investments, and yes, you need to have that cash flow to keep things moving forward. So you asked about cash flow. So two different things.
How much money? How much money should you have if you we're gonna cut in your product. I think it's amazing. We're gonna talk more about it in just a minute. But so people really truly understand because this is really good news. I mean, you've got a great product. It's a hit. Everybody loves it. The orders are coming in, but now it's a financial management situation, right? And there's just dollars going out, and you have to have those dollars. So are we talking 10,000, 20,000? We talking more than that?
So first of all, it depends on your industry and it depends on your product, right? If you're selling something that's pretty cheap, it costs you, I don't know, 20 cents a piece,
Okay.
and you got to order 10,000 of them. Okay,
Okay.
you might be able to float that.
All
Talk to
right.
something that costs $10 a piece, and you order
Okay.
10,000 of them. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
So I think that's a big
Okay.
part of the
That's
equation why you can't completely answer that question.
okay.
But let me tell you, the money can add up quickly. There's a lot of, let's call them, hidden costs. You're not only paying manufacturing, you're paying shipping.
All right.
And to send a container from China isn't cheap. You're paying marketing because you got to sell it somehow. And you might be particularly good at marketing, but
Okay.
lots of stuff you might have to do. If it's Amazon ads, if it's hiring somebody to do social media for you, if it's something else, you're paying insurance. You're
Okay.
paying storage. Where are you going to store your 10,000 units you just ordered?
Okay.
Right? You need a store facility. You're paying shipping. Well, what about, you want to get your product to some influencers to get some good press, right? To get some good, viral videos going. You got to
Uh,
ship them free samples, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's a lot of costs involved. And
all
you
right.
need to be, if you're going to do something like this, I would say I had my eyes half open, meaning I knew I was gonna take a risk. I knew there was gonna be a financial burden, and I was kind of ready for it at this point. I had some money in the bank. I was willing to take a chance.
Okay.
Not everybody has that blessing, and not everybody has that the ability to take that level of risk from a personality standpoint.
So yeah, let's talk about that for just a minute because you're right that there's a stress to that, and you have to live with that stress, and you don't. There's a lot of unknowns. How do you deal with it, David?
Very deep breath, deep breaths, a supportive family.
Okay.
I don't lay out any significant money without, you know, discussing it with my wife and saying, okay, are we ready for this? I think this is good, but I don't want to do something you're not comfortable with.
Okay.
I think that's crucial. If you're on your own, you do things on your own, but I have a family. I'm blessed with 6 kids. Got to make sure we can cover everything over here.
Okay.
So you need to be able to be sure that you can do what you're doing. I don't think anybody should risk losing their house over something like this.
All right. Okay. So what's the name of your toy that's very popular at the moment? Tell us a little bit about that.
So our game that's very popular at the moment is called Cornhole Shootout. It's a mix of cornhole, which is obviously a very popular game in America right now,
Yes.
together with basketball. The unique story of where it came to me from, which is also inventRight connected, which is another person. Actually, it's his invention, Martin Lombardini, and he actually brought the game, tried to get the game licensed. It was his idea. He brought the game by chance to Matt Nuccio.
Okay.
And Matt said, well, listen, I don't really do this, but I got an idea. I got a guy who I'm working with right now who's in the active play sports related industry and looking for ideas. Why don't we make a connection? And Martin and I met, and it's great. It's been a great connection. So I wound up licensing it from him.
Okay.
And it's been a great idea. You know, he took me, he brought me a pretty basic idea. He brought us. We developed it further, you know, in different directions, but based on the same model, and took it to manufacturing, started selling on Amazon,
Okay.
and somewhere along the line it was noticed. I don't remember the exact process, to be honest, if we actually applied for it, but we're actually, the Toy Association named us a finalist for Toy of the Year in the outdoor category, which was a huge surprise considering how young and new we are, but fantastic.
I mean, everyone, so let's step back for a minute. You have to realize this. The toy industry is one of the toughest industries to compete in. They've seen thousands and thousands of ideas every year, times 50, 60, 70 years. So it's really hard to come up with something new. But to be recognized for being like one of the best of Toy of the Year or whatever, that's what it's up for, right? That's a big deal,
Yes.
David. That's a big deal.
It's a very big deal.
It is, especially for a new company. So you guys, we're going to put information down below because there's still voting going on, correct? You can still vote.
Correct.
Okay. I want everybody to vote.
Until January 10th.
What's that?
Until January 10th.
Okay, great. So we'll put all the information down below.
Great.
So what's really crazy about this story, it sounds like you've been weaving in and out with people that I know, from being a student, from your coach, to Martin's another coach, to Matt. I've known Matt for a long, long time. I mean, this thing's gone back and forth a few times. It's kind of funny how that, you guys, it's a small industry. I hate to tell everybody. Everybody thinks it's a real big industry now. It's smaller than you think. So if you're going to do something over, would you do anything over? I mean, what advice would you give someone like yourself that has a little bit of experience, or maybe he's willing to take a risk or wants to start a business? Any advice, David?
So I'll say a few things. First of all, if you believe in it, if you're passionate about it, if you love it, do your research. You taught me this. Do your research. Make sure that the thing you're working on has got a shot.
Okay.
I would say try to find an industry insider to connect with, to give you some validation in that way.
Yeah.
Having Matt, who is a real expert in the toy industry, to really guide me in that. And it's never going to be perfect. There's no guarantees. But having somebody on the inside of a particular industry is a huge advantage.
Got it.
I would say go for it. Just go for it with your eyes wide open.
Okay.
Recognize it's going to be ups and downs. Recognize it's going to take time. I'll be completely honest. I'm not making money yet.
Okay.
Right? Because it just takes time. If you sell 1,000 units of something, you're not going to make a living.
Okay.
You need to sell a lot more than that to be able to make a living, but you need to start and you need to build. With that in mind, I'll tell you, you asked me before about mistakes. I'll tell you another mistake I made. So I have another product, the first product actually, called Bankable. You know, I know you have your Nerf basketball story with Michael Jordan. So this was my Nerf basketball story. Basically I had the idea of taking a Nerf basketball hoop type idea, but designing it for trick shots.
Oh.
So the hoop can be adjusted. It's not just a straight hoop. You can move it at an angle. The backboard you can move at an angle, so you can do a bank shot off the backboard. The hoop goes up and down. Great, love it. Think it's great. Nobody else out there is doing it. That was the first product we took to market. It's really, really, really struggled. To be honest, we're not 100% sure why. We're still trying to do some research and figuring it out because the price point now seems okay and whatever, but that's a whole nother discussion.
So wait a minute.
But the lesson I want to say from that is I ordered in my initial order way too many units.
Okay.
So when you the more units that you will order when you manufacture, the lower the price is going to be. That's very tempting. If I can get X units for $3 a piece or Y units for $1 a piece, okay, I'll take the Y units. So I'll have more.
All right.
But you got to sell them. And if you don't sell them, you're simultaneously paying for storage and for so many other things that are attached. So I would say be cautious. Start off slow. I jumped in a little too deep to begin with.
Okay, so you ordered a lot of inventory because the price was very attractive. So what do you do with all the inventory now? What are you doing to try to sell it?
So we're giving away samples.
Okay.
We're still marketing it. We're trying to figure out how to get some new content for it.
Okay.
I'm simultaneously paying a lot of money in storage because it's still sitting there and it's not sold yet. And those are part of the challenges. But, if you believe in it, don't give up too quickly. It's going to catch. It'll take time.
Yeah, managing inventory is always really tricky, isn't it? Because you have to have enough inventory, especially when the big retailers are ordering it. If they order it and you don't have the inventory, that doesn't make them very happy.
Yes.
Anything else? You just told us all, manage your inventory, don't order too much. Find someone in the industry that has experience. That's very helpful. Uh, don't mortgage the house. Okay. Thank you. Mortgage house. And keep at it because it does take a little bit of time. It's not going to make money instantly. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I think that's a pretty good summary.
Okay.
I really actually think I'll go back to one of the points we just made. Find an industry insider. Find a mentor, a business mentor if you're not coming from the business world, but also find somebody on the inside who could help you weave your way through, make connections, tell you, put you in your place when you're, we all have a bit of inventor syndrome, I think. We all think our product is the best and nothing needs to change and this and that. Have somebody who can really tell you straight. And, this is a big risk you're taking, even if you're going slow, it's a risk.
Yes.
And, process that a bit.
David, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you very much for all the help with getting me started right from the bat. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Well, thank you so much. And you have a fantastic product. You guys, all the information is down below. Vote for it. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. I think it's smart. I think it's an evergreen. I think it's going to be around forever. I think you got a big hit on your hands. That's just
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Take care.